consigo pegar o livro. Eu meti em 480p mesmo e é nóis. Se pegar, pegou. Por enquanto tá pegando. Vou vazar dessa nave. Vou ter que lembrar como é que faz isso. Baixo. Maneiro, hein? Legal, legal. Apertei pra levantar, era pra desacoplar.
Release. We're free.
Vou botar o fone aqui direito. Vou continuar. Tô em Shirondinga. Engraçado falar isso, né?
Site is clear. You set and start.
Life will almost certainly arise on planets when the right conditions are met. There's a beauty in such persistence.
Gravidade pesada. Pra mim é assim, a mais pesada que a da Terra é pesada. Tem essa que é só um pouquinho. A da Terra é 1, essa daqui é 1.07. Barrett tá comigo? Tá. geleira derretida. Leis terrestres fundidos de uma geleira minguante indicam uma paisagem em ritmo de modificação acelerado.
Exhilarating,
E
isn't
por
it?
que tá com dois bichos? Tem um ali.
First person to scan these things. Progress to hostilities already.
É que seu nome? Morcego ou raposa? Foi nem eu que matei.
I have something for you.
Oxi! Tá bom, só vou aceitar. Não entendi porque eu ganhei neve.
Captain, over here. The workup's in the cabinet's hands. They said they'll call for us once they've gotten to properly review it. But listen, I know I should have been more forthcoming about who I was earlier. So, in the interest of full disclosure, there's one more thing you ought to know before we head there. My relationship with the UC. It's more complicated than it might seem at first glance. The UC's actually the only reason I'm here in the first place. I am a clone of a man named Francois Sanon, one-time fleet admiral
Clone?
of the UC during the Colony War, former head of the UC Navy. They called him Ve Victus. Woe to the defeated.
Existe
in
clone?
Old Earth Latin. A title he earned. The program I was a part of, it was the UC's attempt to create a new generation of military minds from one of their most respected tacticians. Secure the leadership of the UC military for generations to come. A non-trivial amount of gene editing. Clone, honestly, isn't even really the right term for our relationship, thanks to the amount of donor material that was required to bring me into this world. He and I are different on more than a few levels. There's no denying the fact we're inextricably linked. I'm the last. A few of my siblings
Ah, ele é o último
passed
dos
when we were
clones,
young,
olha.
in accidents and the like. But most of the rest were deployed to the front lines during the colony war, and they never came back. Not a day goes by where I don't
Não é
think
possível, é
about
muito
the
Star Wars
world
também, né, cara? Eles fizeram clones e mandaram pra linha de frente na guerra. De onde é que vocês viram isso? Pam, 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 pam.
I'm getting there. The man I was cloned from, my father, was executed for acts he committed during the war. The man caused a lot of death on both sides. Freestar
Eles não mentiram não, né? Que eles pegaram inspiração em um monte de coisa.
military and civilians. And the things he did, well,
Mas tipo, as
they're
histórias são
part of
diferentes,
the
né? Apesar de
reason
ter
UC and Freestar
as
Collective
pitadas
are
ali que você vê
really on
claramente de
good
onde
terms
veio.
to this day. So my involvement, it could be another obstacle they throw at us up there. I just wanted you to be forewarned. He had his men open fire on civilian ships during the Battle of Cheyenne. A battle that he ultimately ended up losing anyway, devastating the UC fleet and bringing the colony war to an ugly end for the UC.
Colony War, Clone War.
He's also the one who ordered the bombing of the Londinian spaceport during their outbreak, condemning countless lives. Both sides agreed the settled systems would be better without him. I really appreciate you saying that. I just thought you deserved to know, considering how much you've done already. You know, while we've got a second, was there anything else we needed to discuss? I know you got dropped into the middle of this pretty fast. Or if you've got any last-minute business to attend to, now might be a good time. No telling how long the cabinet's gonna keep us waiting out here. Eye strain from the amount of reading I've got on the horizon if we succeed. The Terramorph project never went anywhere. It couldn't. They are deadly creatures, but they aren't xenoweapons. The cabinet not opening the archives is probably a bigger risk than them handing over the files. That data itself isn't dangerous, which probably wouldn't be a bad point for us to bring up, should the opportunity arise. Then I guess it's just a matter of...
The cabinet meeting is about to begin. All parties, please proceed to the cabinet chambers.
Sounds like our cue. Here we go.
I see.
Ué.
Ah, welcome. You must be the captain Hadrian mentioned in her report. You have our thanks for the risks you faced in securing this information.
Oh, I'm sure she did.
Yes, well, precisely how urgent is what I hope we'll determine here today. So now, we have two petitioners here making a surprising request. Access to the UC Xeno Warfare Team's Terramorph data, currently housed in the Armistice archives. A request which will require not just this body's agreement, but that of all three Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun. Now, Captain, we've all read Hadrian's report on the subject, but we have yet to hear from you. Perhaps you could summarize for the Cabinet what it is you see as the goal of this endeavor.
Chuva? Puta merda.
That is something to consider. Though we also have to take into account the nature of the data you require.
Começou a chover aqui.
Madam President, I object to the very premise of this meeting. While no one would argue that what happened on Tau Ceti was anything less than a tragedy, terramorph attacks are not some sudden new threat on the horizon. They've been happening for generations. To demand we hand over banned archival knowledge and possibly upset the balance of galactic diplomacy because of a single attack seems at best panic, and at worst, a power grab by the daughter of a bloodthirsty warmonger and her associates.
I would remind the chief diplomat who he's speaking to. If it's my father you're looking to address, you're welcome to consult a medium. I would also ask how many deaths the Cabinet requires to act. 50? 50,000? Because if tragedies like Tau Ceti are just prelude to more attacks, I have no doubt you'll get the body count you require.
Let's keep this civil, shall we? And while there should be no doubt the preservation of life stands paramount among this body's duties, Chief Yassine has a point. Will a single attack, however troubling, be sufficient to convince the other factions to grant us access to what they no doubt consider weapon data? I don't think it's enough. Perhaps you can help, Captain. As the one who actually collected the sample in question, did this terramorph seem at all alarming to you?
That is worth considering. This attack took place on an almost completely uninhabited world. The casualties were minimal as a result. But if there's another attack, will we be so lucky?
Yes, a fine point, Admiral. So then, Captain, given the discussion now and the information you've been privy to thus far, if you were in our position, would you grant the request made to open the archives?
Isso aqui é bem
It's
inteligente.
forbidden knowledge for a reason, right? The reason being we weren't ready for it. The question now is, how far have we come since then?
That? I hadn't thought of that, Captain.
Eu escolhi certinho,
Excellent point
eu
indeed.
parei pra ler,
The
né?
other powers would likely be much more inclined to work with us knowing that. Chief Diplomat.
That one is a good one. Very well, you have my agreement. The galaxy is lucky you were here today, Captain.
You and I are in agreement, Chief Diplomat. So, if there are no other objections, I believe we can agree to give our full backing to make the request to... What was that?
Ok.
An incident has occurred. Facility lockdown engaged.
Incident. Chief Sarkin, what's happening?
There's been an attack at the spaceport. Terramorphs.
Nossa, como é que eles chegaram aqui?
More attacks. Just as predicted.
Good God.
Don't panic. Focus.
There must be another explanation. The creatures evaded our scanners somehow.
There will be plenty of time for conjecture later. Chief Sarkin, order the evacuation of the spaceport and have your men contain the things, but do it discreetly. The last thing we need is a citywide panic.
Yes, ma'am.
Admiral Logan, the local barracks can provide support.
I'll make the order myself. Nearest anti-Xeno squad, though, is off-world. Might take a while to bring them in.
Well then, we'll have to make do with the tools we've got. You two, we can't risk those things getting out of the spaceport. I want you both on the next train there. We'll let them know you're coming, and that you've dealt with these things before. Now go show them how it's done.
We're on it, ma'am.
Pode deixar, filho.
I'm right behind. Let's get down there.
Que bom que eles são tranquilos até de conversar, não é um bando de incompetente. As tropas aí.
You! The EM rifle, grab it! Now!
Stop! We're trying to help you! That's it. Now hit him with everything you've got.
Equipada, pô. Ah, é uma arma de...
Was looking forward to more.
Thank you for what you did. We didn't want to hurt them.
The way those people were acting, I've seen this before. They were under the Terramorph's influence, weren't they?
I don't know. They were down at the port and they just started screaming. We tried to restrain them, get them on the train to get them out of harm's way, but some of the other officers down there, we couldn't restrain them fast enough. They just started firing on us. People we knew. They went berserk.
Pheromonic projection. Some Terramorphs, they can induce this fog. It affects everyone differently, but some people just lose control, turn against everyone around them, even if they don't want to. They're like a puppet.
Caramba.
You kill the morph, you break the hold. But this means we're gonna need to be real careful with our fire, and keep that EM weapon at the ready. I'm not suggesting. It's documented behavior. The result of the projection, though, can vary wildly. Some folks just shrug it off. Others hallucinate. And some lose control altogether. Those cases, you'll either need to knock them out with... I honestly was just wondering. But no, you don't need to worry about me. I've had a Terramorph try it on me before. So we'll just have to make... Let's do it.
That's on launch.
Vamos lá, né?
Please, do it.
You're not alone.
No time to waste, Captain. Stash the EM and pull some firepower. Let's move. All citizens are required to proceed to the nearest shelter.
Morreu o jogo. Morreu não, está dando load.
You might back up. Don't
puxar uma arma boa aqui pra ele, vai. Cacete, que bicho forte. Parece que é melhor mesmo, não tem jeito.
You handled yourself well back there.
Wait, officer? Are you and this woman experts? Take whatever we can get right now. We've got the remaining creatures locked down on the landing pad, barely holding our perimeter. They said you've done this before. Well, one for our team to spare and whatever supplies you need, but I can't risk them taking over anymore. Get those things down and do it fast. We'll hold them as best we can.
It's good to be home, right? Okay. So hand me.
This was not on the application.
Heard you might be looking for some backup. You say the word, we're out there on your 6.
You two have any experience with terramorphs before?
Only the brief they just gave on the way here. But we know how to handle pressure.
Surviving a full-on mental assault isn't the same as keeping your cool in a firefight. Might make you more liability than asset.
We're not UC security. You don't need to worry about us. We're not afraid. But we'll stay here and hold the line if that's what you want. You're the experts. Your call. We're on the line.
Let's get this over with.
Cacete, que bicho forte, mano.
Captain, you're going to be okay. It's not real. Whatever you're experiencing right now, it's not real. We have to put down that form.
Stand still. I'm going to wear your skin.
Tá mexendo na minha mente ele.
left us?
Deckard!
Why did you leave us?
I'm coming for you.
It is.
Factor in the local gravity before doing that?
Target down. Nice work, Captain.
I don't want to even think about what would have happened. This was damn heroic, Captain.
Ganhamos.
Guess they weren't kidding about you. Let's put the right people in the right place. So that made us give you.
Boneco tá drogadão, mano.
I don't want to think what would have happened if you two hadn't been here.
Just glad we could rise to the occasion. Captain, we should report back to the President. Let her know the Terramorphs have been dealt with. Take care of yourself, Sergeant.
Attention. The spaceport has been secured. Safety precautions remain in place. Please wait for the all clear signal before exiting.
That's a relief. Thank you, gentlemen. Captain, Hadrian, it would appear that the Cabinet owes you our thanks for what you did for the city today, as well as an apology. Your concerns about the Terramorphs, well, consider them validated.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course. I only wish we could have acted sooner. Now, today's events have only clarified our path forward in the eyes of the Cabinet. You will have our full support in collecting the Terramorph data from the archives, as well as a subsequent investigation into the nature of these attacks.
Que
But to
bom.
accomplish those goals, we're going to need the right people in the right places. As such, the cabinet has authorized me to reinstate you, Hadrian, effective immediately, to your former rank of Major. As soon as we've got the data in hand, we want you investigating these attacks and how to stop them. Will you do this?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. I'd be honored.
Excellent. But as you've both made clear, for such an investigation to succeed first, we're going to need someone to convince the Freestar Collective and House Varun to play ball. Someone who knows precisely the sorts of dangers the colonies and all the galaxy are facing right now. The cabinet wants you, Captain, to be that representative.
É isso mesmo, só me mandar lá.
In exchange, we're willing to fast-track your citizenship upon collection of the data. So, will you help us? It has its perks. Only citizens can purchase property in the city. We also pay reduced prices on most goods and services across the UC. There's also a credit disbursement when you first join. Help get you on your feet. But above all, you'd become a dedicated part of the greatest faction in the galaxy. If you're willing to help us, we can open that door. I'm glad
Tá bom.
to hear it. Now, we, of course, won't be sending you in without the proper support. Deputy McIntyre in the Office of Interstellar Affairs will be your guide on gaining access to the archives. You should be able to find her in her office across the hall. And on behalf of the whole of the United Colonies, you have our thanks. You're dismissed.
The next time terrormorphs rear their ugly heads, UC is going to be ready.
Pronto.
We're on the
I'm
cutting
gonna go
edge of
check in
technology.
with Chief
here.
Engineer
It's an
Kulkarni.
exciting place to
Start
be.
getting a plan together for that data.
You've done the UC an incredible service, Captain.
Com amigos assim.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure they get what they require. That must make you my Vanguard captain. Welcome to Interstellar Affairs. I'm Deputy Chief Diplomat McIntyre, Chief Yassine's second in command. I heard you were instrumental in protecting the city from the attack. You have my gratitude. I was also
Tá bom.
informed that you gave quite the presentation to the cabinet. Chief Yassine wants you to know the Interstellar Affairs Office is fully committed to this endeavor, accessing the Terramorph data and beyond. We're going to do everything in our power to make sure you have the tools you need. And that means first getting you into the archives. You do know what the archives are, correct?
Someone paid attention in current events. So, then you also know that it was originally managed by the 3 major galactic players. Access to the archives is only granted in cases of dire emergency, and requires a one-time use code from each of the 3 Armistice signatories. UC, Freestar Collective, and House Varun.
Now, the UC is already on board, so that means we'll need to convince 2 people. The ambassadors of the Freestar Collective and House Varun to hand over their codes. Get them both and you'll have your data. But that's a lot easier said than done.
I couldn't agree more. However, both ambassadors have reasons they won't, or can't, work with us. Now, I'll provide guidance on how we believe you can acquire each code, but ultimately, it'll be up to you to get them both to cooperate.
And I do mean cooperate. Threats and violence are off the table here. Though that doesn't mean we can't get creative.
But it does mean we need to get you up to speed on who you're dealing with. Who do you want to start with? Ambassador Radcliffe of Freestar? or Ambassador Balmore of House Varun. Ambassador Balmore's a challenge. When the rest of House Varun retreated into seclusion shortly after the signing of the armistice, Balmore stayed here. He's since lent his support to a small number of archival requests, so there's real hope he might again. But claiming to know how a member of House Varun thinks is a quick way to earn yourself a psych eval.
It's weird that we have to say that, but yeah, they're just regular people with different beliefs.
Of course, but there is another wrinkle. We're not 100% sure Balmore is actually still alive. His public appearances were always rare, but it's been several years now since he last poked his head out. Scans of the facility show life signs, but not the kind we were expecting.
Your task is to find him and kindly but firmly remind him of his duties under the armistice. Then you search the embassy for his biometric key, collect your code piece, and we'll go about notifying his next of kin, if we can ever find them. But let's hope it doesn't come to that. I have no doubt. Now, the embassy front door isn't an option, but our spies have stated there's a side entrance that should allow you access. Here, this device should get you all the way down to the embassy interior. Once you're inside, though, finding the ambassador is going to be up to you. And fair warning, we received a report that alarms might have been tripped inside the embassy during the attacks. Watch out for automated security in there.
The good Ambassador Ratcliffe. She's a veteran of the Colony War, and her only goal in life is to make ours miserable.
I bet she loves her job.
Now, officially, our office is suggesting you try and negotiate with her.
Use your experiences as a member of the military and with the threat we're facing to convince her to lend her support.
And who knows? Maybe that'll work. Stranger things have happened. But my suspicion is we're going to have to rely on other tools to get her code.
Certainly. See, good diplomacy is all about the careful application of pressure. We just need to find the squeeze.
UC Intelligence has a recording device planted in the ambassador's living quarters, which we suspect you can use to your advantage.
But getting caught trespassing is a quick way to land yourself in an embassy holding cell.
So, if you are going to try and access the device, you're going to need to find a way.
Pô, a gente vai ter que invadir o lugar, mano.
Now, we recovered some intel we believe should be able to help with that. But there's also a disgruntled staff member you might be able to pump for information. Maybe even convince to work with you. Yes, many. Don't steal anything. Don't get caught anywhere you're not supposed to. Absolutely do not harm anyone. If something goes wrong, we'll do our best to smooth.
All right. Here.
And take these. Chief Yassine wanted you to have some options on how to proceed in there.
Now, if you have additional questions or require clearance for a new approach we haven't I'd suggest you start with Ambassador Radcliffe. Approach her while the attack... Be smart out there, Captain.
Got a minute to chat? Maybe a few minutes. Probably not hours.
Deixa eu fazer um bagulho aqui. Vou tentar abrir em 720p de novo. Acho que eu tenho que mandar aquela outra pro YouTube, sabe? Que eu não sei se vai estar aqui. Aí é foda. Não, tá aqui sim.